Get faster internet speeds for free when you get TV, internet, and phone. Ask for Trio from Rev.
Join the revolution.
Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight,
Long Island MP Loretta Butler Turner will be running for the leadership post of the F&M. Her official announcement straight ahead.
One of Baha Mar's joint provisional liquidators says a lot of progress has been made. That story straight ahead.
the summer rush is on at the passport office. Welcome to our news. I'm Christina McNeil. Thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight, a Long Island Member of Parliament, Loretta Butler Turner, has officially thrown her hat in the ring, announcing today that she will be running for leader of the Free National Movement. Jasmine Brown has details in this report.
The former F&M deputy leader, who has been tight-lipped about her intentions, finally broke her silence, revealing she will be challenging Dr. Hubert Minnis.
As a wife, I know what it is to take care and nurture our families. And so I believe, in addition to my experience politically, that brings a whole new dimension to the leadership in our country today.
There has been talk about Butler Turner's intention to challenge Hubert Minnis for the second time, since F&M Senator Dr. Dwayne Sands confirmed with the press that he and the Long Island MP would be running mates. Butler Turner, who was joined by her husband today, says she believes the Butler-Sands team has what it takes to not only repair a fractured party, but also lead the F&M to victory next year.
We truly believe that what we have at stake here today is not a fight within the F&M, but a fight for the rescuing of our country. And so we present to you, we believe, the strongest team that one can envision at this time in our history to take on the PLP, its machinery, its ineptitude, and its incompetence. So we believe that with that in mind, we shall be victorious, not for ourselves, but for the Bahamian people.
Butler Turner ran against Minnis in the leadership race in 2014, but he beat her 3-1. Sands ran for the deputy leader spot and lost to Peter Turnquest. When asked if she thinks they will be successful this time, Butler Turner had this response.
I've transitioned, I've developed. I think that they're very valuable lessons whenever one is able to walk away from a loss and introspect and build upon that lesson. So for Dr. Sands and I, we have come to adopt that mantra. We never lose, we learn.
The F&M's convention was originally set to take place in November, but after Minnis faced an ultimatum from 6 F&M MPs, the convention was moved to July 27th. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Thanks, Jasmine. Now, although there's been a lot of support voiced for Loretta Butler Turner's bid for F&M leader, former F&M Cabinet Minister Tennyson Wells says he has his doubts the Butler and Sands team will prove successful.
I think the Butler and Sands team will be beaten. I don't have no doubt they will be beaten.
At the F&M's last convention in 2014, opposition leader Dr. Hubert Minnis defeated Butler Turner by a wide margin. Wells says based on what he's hearing from F&M council members, Minnis may win by an even larger margin than he did last time.
They tell me that if Minnis loses 10 votes from what he did last year, he lost plenty. I believe he's gained. I think he's going to gain based on the way they operate.
Butler Turner's bid for leadership was unofficially announced by Dr. Dwayne Sands earlier this month. Wells says he believes that was just an effort to test the waters and see the response to a Butler and Sands leadership team.
And when he announced and they discovered that, oh, these delegates are not going for what we think they can go for when they don't do their testing. They calling around all the time, right? They're doing calls like what's his name, Sands said that they call and they can meet in each. What they're hearing, they don't like.
In other news, today marks 1 year since the $3.5 billion Baha Mar resort filed for bankruptcy protection. And with the development sitting in liquidation, many are wondering what's going to happen next. Well, an announcement regarding the resumption of construction and who the buyer will be may be coming soon. Dana Smith reports.
It's been a year since the Baha Mar bankruptcy filing, and according to one of the resort's joint provisional liquidators, a lot of work has been done, and an announcement regarding the progress will be made shortly.
There's been a lot of progress, and I think very shortly, You'll be hearing from the receiver managers as to the progress that has been made in the negotiations with the bank, as well as the negotiations between CCA and the bank. You should be hearing from them very shortly.
Joint Provisional Liquidator Ed Ramin spoke with reporters outside court this morning following a hearing. The Baha Mar matter was back before Supreme Court Justice Ian Winder, who dismissed a request by creditor Granite Ventures for the court to appoint a committee of creditors to take over management of CSEC litigation, investigate and monetize the claim. On June 29th of last year, the developer of the multi-billion-dollar Baha Mar resort filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in a United States Supreme Court, and thousands of employees were eventually sent home. Since then, the Baha Mar saga has continued to drag out, with the development currently sitting in receivership, incomplete and unopened. Asked what announcement could be made regarding the resort's future, Ramin said,
Possibly in terms of who the buyer is and in terms of the completion of the project from a construction standpoint.
When pressed on when exactly such an announcement would be made, Ramin insisted he couldn't say.
The joint receiver managers are currently leading negotiations with the bank. The contractor, CCA and CSEC, are also in negotiations with the bank as it relates to a completion contract at this time. To be what's going on right now.
The official grand opening of the resort was slated for March 2015. More than a year later, it remains unclear when exactly Baha Mar's doors will open. Reporting for Our News, I'm Dana Smith.
Thanks, Dana. More than 2,000 Baha Mar employees were sent packing as the rest of the country questioned the next step for the stalled project. Our Simone Davis spoke to Prime Minister Perry Christie on the matter, and he gave a brief update on the future of Baha Mar.
Christina, Mr. Christie said government officials have been in talks with the Export-Import Bank of China about the possible continuation of construction at Baha Mar. Although he did not provide a timeline, Christie did say that they are in the final stages of the negotiation process.
The matter is in the hands now of the receiver managers. Mr. Ray Winder, Bahamian, is a part of that team. And they are in final negotiations with the contracting company with a view to settling the way forward. The government will be invited at some stage to begin consideration of what it has to do to facilitate the construction. For example, work permits and whatever else the contractor needs in place. And under the Hotel Encouragement Act, there are certain concessions they can get.
The Prime Minister said while the matter is currently in the hands of the receiver managers, he is anticipating that his administration would be invited to further discuss matters such as construction permits.
Very simply, the officials of the government have been in touch with all of the parties. Conference call on the weekend with the China and the Exim Bank, the contractors.
Back in May, Christie announced that officials entered a framework agreement to remobilize construction to complete the resort. With today being the one-year anniversary, Christie says he believes the process is moving rapidly and asserted that he's just patiently waiting.
We are in the process of waiting, really, for communication from the receiver managers who have the responsibility and who will advise us as to where they are and what they would wish us now to deal with. And so until such time as that takes place, the government is just in a wait position, even though we understand that this matter is moving rapidly. Great.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Simone Davis.
Thanks, Simone. Well, now that summer is here, many are waiting on long lines at the passport office for passports they've applied for weeks, even months ago. Minister of Immigration and Foreign Affairs Fred Mitchell says the passport office is currently experiencing a summer of hell. His department is working diligently to make the process faster and easier for Bahamians.
Well, the passport office is in the middle of a perfect storm. 12 weeks is about what is on average to be expected. You can pay for the express service. But even with the express service, we had a number of events, for example, last week where power failed, generator failed, wiring was deficient. Now we have air condition broken down. So it's just a cascading set of problems.
Mitchell says his ministry is considering a temporary location for the collection of passports.
One of the things we're thinking about is perhaps getting another site temporarily to allow people to enroll, which is more comfortable, or certainly to collect, because the lines that you see are largely due to collection issues, not enrollment issues. So all of that we're working on actively, and I think it's necessary to say that, you know, we're completely sensitive to the issue. It is really not a good experience. We try as best we can. The staff is working under conditions which are not acceptable generally.
Mitchell pleaded for public patience during the hectic summer months.
The best I can do at the moment is to urge maximum patience to the public on this. This is yet again a summer of hell on this question of passports, and we're trying our best to manage the issue.
Still to come, addressing the fear of crime in the country, but first.
An alleged suicide in the Hillside Estates area. That and more tonight on Our News.
Up when Our News returns.